I'm Bruna from Salon de Idiomas, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about Oxford Test of English. I'm going to explain to you what's the structure of the exam, how it works, so it's clear, okay? So let's start talking about the speaking skill. This part of the test is divided into 4 different exercises. So in the first part, you guys are going to have to answer some interview questions. It's those questions that are very common for exams, they ask about entertainment, personal questions, questions related to learning English, this type of things. The questions in the beginning have a duration of 10 seconds and then 20 seconds, depending on the question. Then for part 2, you have to leave some voicemail messages. They are going to give you what you have to talk about, the structure. For instance, you're going to call a friend to invite them to go to lunch or dinner, and then you have to leave the voicemail to your friend. Normally, they give you like 3 ideas that you have to mention in the voicemail message. Then for the part 3, you have to talk about one specific issue. They will give you like 5, let's imagine you have to talk about sports. They will give you 4 different pictures with different sports. You can choose 2 of those pictures, and then you're going to speak on your own, talking about advantages and disadvantages, or something, one specific thing that they ask you, like the differences or similarities, something like that. And then for the last part, they are going to ask you some questions that are always related to the topic of the previous part. So if you talked about sports, the questions in the last part are going to be related to sports. You just have to give your opinion and answer the questions with, accurately to the questions, of course. So let's imagine if you were talking about sports, they could ask you what kind of sports you play, if it's interesting to play sports, how healthy that can be, this type of questions. And that's it. Really simple. It takes about 15 minutes to complete the speaking part. All right, so now let's talk about the next skill, which is the listening part. That is also divided into 4 different parts. For the first one, they're going to ask you you're going to listen to a short conversation, and then the questions, you have to answer the questions with pictures. So let's imagine the question is, where are the friends going to have lunch? And then you're going to have a picture of a park, another picture of, a restaurant, and the other one of a rooftop. So depending on the conversation, you have to choose what's the correct answer for the question. For the part 2, you have a longer monologue, and you have to just write down some notes. Let's imagine they already have a notepad and some information is missing from the notes. So you have to complete with whatever you listen to in the audio. It could be to complete a sentence or to write down some specific numbers, for example, that are missing, something similar to that. Then for the part 3, you're going to listen to a conversation. They have some sentences, and you have to decide if those are the opinion of the man, the woman, or of both of them. So you just have to match their opinions with the speakers. And for part 4, it's shorter conversations, and you just have to answer 1 multiple choice question per conversation. It's about 5 questions, and you will have 3 different options. You just have to choose what's the correct answer. And that's it. The listening part takes about 30-35 minutes to complete. All right, now let's talk about the reading part. This part of the test is also divided into 4 different parts. For the first part, you have to read. Let's imagine you have a notification from your school that something is going to change this week. Then you have 3 sentences summarizing that notification, and you have to choose what's the one that's the correct summary of the text. Something similar to that. In the part 2, you have, it could either be 5 descriptions of let's imagine one specific application or 5 people giving their opinion about one thing. So you have one main topic and 5 extracts of text talking about that main topic. And then in the end, you have to match the questions with the extracts. So let's imagine you have 5 people giving their opinion about taking classes at Salón de Idiomas. And then you have to say, who thinks Salón de Idiomas is a great school? Who thinks Salón de Idiomas has a good schedule? This type of things. You just have to match the text with the questions. For part 3, you have a text with some gaps, and then they give you some sentences that are missing in the text. So you have to decide which sentence goes where. Of course, you will have extra sentences, so you have to decide what's the missing information in the text. And finally, in the part 4, you just have to answer multiple choice questions about the text, so it's interpretation of what you have read. The reading part takes about 35 minutes to complete. All right, so now let's talk about the writing part. This part consists of 2 exercises. For part 1, you're gonna have to write an email. The email is, the number of words you have to write in the email is from 180 words to 130 words, and you will have to answer to a prompt. Normally they give you already an email with information, and based on that information, you're going to respond to the email with whatever they ask you to talk about. Normally you have like 3 ideas you need to mention in the email. And then for the part 2, you either have to write an article or a review, depending on the task you are given on your exam. This is a longer writing, so you have to write between 100 to 160 words. So it's not that long. And like I said, the structure depends on what they ask you in the exam. It could either be an article or a review. The complete writing part, the 2 exercises, you will have 45 minutes to complete. All right, you guys, so that's the Oxford test of English. I hope you have enjoyed this video and the information I've given you. If you need more information about the exam, you can check our webpage. You will find everything you need. Thanks for watching and see you soon.